Welcome back. This is Lee and Alison from the Law School Toolbox, and today we're talking about how on earth you should organize your time and stay focused in law school. All right, this question I think is pretty unique to law school. How do I balance immediate deadlines with long-term projects like outlining? And I think this really is such high impact because of these final exams that are barreling down at you faster than you would like to think.
Yeah, and I think school, just the time spent tends to prioritize something that is not the same as what is tested on the final. So school prioritizes reading and classes and being prepared for the Socratic method. And that's, all well and good, but it doesn't actually help you answer an exam question necessarily. Yeah. I mean, it does kind of obliquely, but it does not directly give you that practice that you need to answer exam questions, nor does it really help you put together a big picture understanding of the class, which is what you do through your outlines and other study aids.
Yeah. So you've got to see that all of this stuff lives in parallel. And I think that's why creating a smart calendar and looking at all of your due dates is so important. So, you need to see the semester as a whole and start to say okay, well, I can start outlining usually a few weeks into the semester. So where is that going to happen every week? And then maybe look at the calendar and say, when should I be halfway done with that outline? At what point should that be done? And then kind of work back so you kind of have those intermittent goals. And then those outlines should be done, preferably before reading week, so you can spend more of your time studying and practicing and not drafting things. So you want to just say, I'm going to invest in this every week. But you also want to have these touch points where you can assess and say, I'm not getting enough done. I need to invest more, or I need to change how I'm doing it. So I think having these intermediate deadlines for yourself for these longer projects also helps these longer term projects stack up against these other classes like legal writing, where you have to turn in assignments. It is so much easier to do a legal writing assignment than it is to work on a big abstract thing like outlining or studying for finals, because you can be done with a legal writing assignment.
Right. Or you can even on the day-to-day basis be done with your reading for a class. One thing I find sometimes with people is they are just spending way too much time on the reading. And it might mean that people are trying to read cases multiple times. I've even heard people reading them 3 times, 4 times. Sometimes people are rewatching classes. Oh, yeah. You just don't have time for these sort of things. So you really cannot let yourself do that. If you find yourself rewatching a class, you have to ask yourself, why did I not get what I need to get out of it the first time?
Yeah.
And change that.
Yeah. Why weren't you taking notes? Or, and I think this even goes for students who get accommodations. You may get those recordings for an accommodations, which is great. But what is the best way for you to use that recording? Is it to just find a part of the lecture that you found particularly confusing? Or is it to cross-check your notes? Or what are you doing with it? Because more information or more repetitive information isn't always better. It is sometimes more challenging. So you really do have to, constantly be asking yourself, is this activity getting me closer to these goals? And if not, then I need to pivot.
Right. Is this a really good use of my time? And it's not to say that in a perfect world, you might not go to every lecture 3 times, but what is that not allowing you to do because you're spending that time doing that instead of doing something else?
Yeah. And that's where I think it can become too, when you're finding this balance between these deadlines, between these larger projects, you've got to look at how you're also just spending your other time. If you haven't looked at your screen time report on your phone, I don't like to look at mine, but I make myself look at it. And then I ask myself important questions like, is that really how you want to be spending that many hours of the week? It's really, and maybe you say yes, and that's fine. But you should ask yourself the question. And if you don't have enough hours to get this other stuff done, you have to ask yourself where the hours are going. And I think that is a very hard question for a lot of us. In these complicated times where the news is very distracting. It could be spending a lot of time in the New York Times or whatever you read.
You know what? I just stopped that and the Washington Post, and I don't really miss them. I can't. I still know what's going on. It's the new, anything important enough still reaches me, but I'm no longer spending I mean, if you looked at my report from, I'm sure they're tracking me, and at some point it literally dropped off a cliff and never really went back.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes
I don't regret that time.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to just make those decisions. I mean, I don't use Facebook anymore. I mean, unless I think there's something on Facebook I need to see, but Facebook doesn't serve me. So I just don't. And I live a full life. I would like to do the same with Instagram, but there are things on Instagram that I do feel that serves me, which makes it a very mixed bag for me. And that's its own podcast episode. But you have to make conscious choices about how much of your time, that is very precious. Time is like diamonds, not sand, to quote our good friend Eve Brodsky, right? It's like there's not infinite. So you do have to be very aware of it. So if you're feeling like you don't know what to do, that you're drowning, you have to take a step back. You have to look at your calendar. You have to be practical about where your hours are going. And that doesn't mean that, you're not working hard. It could just mean you have to be smarter about how you're spending your time.
Yeah, and I think some of it is, you're just going to have to spend less time at some point on the class reading, and not to say that you shouldn't do it, but you hopefully should be getting faster at it. And if you're not getting faster at it, that's a problem. But my opinion is you should make a good faith effort to do the reading you're assigned and go to class and talk about it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you remember every single detail of every single case. It doesn't even mean that if you get called on, it's going to go amazingly well. But none of that, frankly, really matters in the end. What matters is, can you use this material on a test? That's what matters. And so I think it's easy to lose focus because that's not what's emphasized. And then find yourself at the end having done, great on, we hear this all the time, like somebody bombs their exams and then goes to their professor, and the professor's so surprised because they did great in class.
Yeah.
But they didn't do anything else.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Well, we have to wrap up because you and I have a meeting with some legal writing instructors that we have to go to. So to sound very law student-esque, we have to go talk to some professors.
That is very true. Well, if you enjoyed this video, please take a second to give us a like and leave a comment, and be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any future content. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us via the contact form on lawschooltoolbox.com, or you can take a look at our Start Law School Right course.